The way it works is the performing rights organizations, primarily BMI or ASCAP, they're tasked with collecting royalties when your music is played. Now, it depends where it's played. If I have a performance at a museum, a gallery, most likely they're not going to collect that money. They're probably not going to take the time to try to go after the gallery to make sure they have a license and they've paid and all that. That's not going to happen. But if it's done at a university, they have licenses with all the universities. If it's done in a theater, professional theater in town, professional concert hall in town, usually they have, they have licenses. If it's a professional ensemble, if it's an orchestra, orchestras have licenses. So, so it really depends. And if the venue where this piece is played charges a fee, then what you get collected goes up somewhat. Interestingly enough, for things like the piece at Fana, which is an interdisciplinary piece with video, electronics, and all that stuff, they typically don't collect because they consider that kind of an opera. And an opera, for opera works and stage works, you're supposed to negotiate that with the space. So now, in the case of the Fana piece, we had Night Arts Challenge funding, and we had funding from Fana. So there was money to make this happen. I mean, because there were six instrumentalists, 6 singers, and 6 dancers in this piece at Fana. And so, so there had to be a budget, a pretty good budget for that. Plus, there was all kinds of video and sound systems and what have you throughout the space, because we took over the whole space for this piece, and we projected video everywhere, as well as electronic sound everywhere. So that's one way to fund things. There are I get grants from foundations and other places, usually in tandem with performers, ensembles, festivals, what have you. And so there is a way to do it. Now, having said all that, I'm a ward of the state. I'm a ward of the state. I work at FIU. The state of Florida is my primary employer, and that's where I make the vast majority of my money, which is a wonderful situation. I mean, that's what I tell my students. I say, that's why it's so hard to get a university teaching job. Because today, the patrons and the donors of contemporary music, classical music for sure, are the universities. Because my research, no one says I have to write this kind of music or that kind of music, whatever. I need to be successful. I need to have performances and get things out there. But whether I write the music that I'm talking about that freezes time, or whether I'm writing a music that doesn't freeze time, or whether I write a music that's influenced by pop music or whatever, it doesn't matter as long as it's getting out there and that you're representing the university. So it's in many ways like the church was or the monarchy was centuries ago. They don't, it's become the conservatories and the universities that have primarily kind of assisted with this. Now that doesn't mean you can't make money on the outside, but I would say there's a very small number of composers doing this kind of music that live off of the music. Now, if I was doing documentary or film, that's a different story. And so when I do documentary or film, it's for fun. It's because I believe in the project, and I'm not trying to make a ton of money. So that's a whole different type of category.